going on, guys? It's your boy the Markham Knight here. Today's video is going to be all about the Superman and Lois TV show. Now this show is 5 episodes in and they've gone on hiatus up until May, but I'm going to give you my recap of the first 5 episodes. I'm going to give you my theories for the show moving forward. It's only 15 episodes long, and then I'm going to give you my review of the first 5 episodes and the show thus far, which has actually been a lot better than I thought it was going to be. So let's get right into our recap. We get to see Superman doing his thing on the Superman side, and we get to see Clark Kent dealing with the family issues of having teenage boys and dealing with his wife and everything. On the Superman side of things, we get to see there's not one singular villain, but we do get to see a few things happening. So we get to see that there are people who are getting Superman level powers. There are people with super strength that he's already dealt with. There are people with actual Superman level powers doing heat vision and showing their super strength and super speed and even x-ray vision and stuff like that. And that person that actually had all these powers in that fifth episode, he exploded. So there's obviously something going on there. Now that has a lot to do with Morgan Edge. I think you could kind of say he's one of the big villains in this actual show. And you also get to see Lois Lane trying to expose what Morgan Edge is doing. Now it has something to do with the town of Smallville. So obviously there's something going on there, and Lois is trying to get to the bottom of that. And now we also get to see the secondary villain, which is maybe the big underlying villain of the show that you haven't really seen do too much yet, but he is in the show. He is Captain Luthor. He was the one in the Halo suit in the first episode, and he is actually from another Earth. And on his Earth, there is a bad Superman. There's an evil Superman who kind of turned on the human race. And that evil Superman was a black suit Superman, also played by Tyler Hoechlin. And it is not the Superman from the Crisis of Infinite Earths, because that Superman was not Superman. He was a different character. But this is actually Kal-El Superman, who converted and became an evil Superman. So this Captain Luthor thinks that that's happening here. Now on his Earth, Captain Luthor was dating was dating Lois Lane, and he was with Lois Lane. And here, she's married to Clark Kent. So he knows that something's different and something different is going on this universe. It's not the same thing, but he might want to get Lois Lane back. He is interacting with her, and he's kind of telling her that he's a news reporter and they're trying to work together on the story to expose Morgan Edge, but maybe he's just trying to get close to her because he knows Superman is connected to Lois Lane in some way, as he was connected to her on his Earth. So that's kind of their Superman storyline there. And also General Sam Lane knows Superman is Clark Kent in this universe, but he's starting to believe Captain Luthor and telling him that there's obviously on the other Earth they work together to try and take Superman down. And obviously he wants him to help him in this Earth. And now he's starting to find doubts about Clark Kent's Superman to kind of see what's going on there. Now on the family side of things, obviously there are 2 boys there. Jordan is the one who kind of looks like Frodo. But he's the one he was the one who's always struggling with like asthma and allergies and stuff like that. But now we learned that he has superpowers, and he's using those superpowers to become a prominent football player, and he's showing his speed and everything, and he's thriving in Smallville. While the other brother, Jonathan, is actually really struggling. His girlfriend just dumped him, and he's having a hard time adjusting to this new small town life. He was the starting quarterback as a freshman on his team back in Metropolis, but now he's the secondary quarterback, and he's not really liked by anyone. He's struggling with living in Smallville. So these 2 things that are kind of compounding for the 2 brothers and stuff, they're also problems for Superman, because Superman as Clark Kent has to be dad and he has to be Superman at the same time. So the whole show is kind of about him playing the balance between being a very good dad and also being obviously Superman, who needs to save everyone and everything at all times. So he's trying to balance doing both. So that's pretty much the recap of the first 5 episodes. Now for the theories of the show moving forward, I think Captain Luthor of Earth whatever is going to work with Sam Lane. I think Sam Lane is going to give in to those bad feelings that he has about Clark, and he's going to start working together with Captain Luthor to kind of either develop a contingency, maybe a contingency that he didn't want to use, but Captain Luthor uses it anyway. But I think they're going to work together to try and take Superman down in some way or somehow, so that it's going to be pretty cool. I think Lois is going to get into trouble with Morgan Edge. Obviously Morgan Edge knows that she's on his tail, so there's something that's going to go on there, and she does have the button that she can press to summon Superman at any time, but I think that's going to kind of play out, and we're going to see some of that stuff happen with Morgan Edge, because he is giving superpowers to other people, so that's going to be an interesting thing that's happening. Now, another thing that we did see is that Jordan was able to give some kind of super speed to one of the guys. I believe his name was Tag. He was the Asian American kid, but he had some sort of super speed or something, and he gave him some sort of power or whatever, and then they had to send him off to like kind of like a Professor X Xavier house of an academy sort of thing where he can learn to use his powers. They kind of sent him off to somewhere like that, but he shows back up and he's kind of attacking his son Jordan and kind of asking what he did to him and stuff like that, because apparently he's given him some sort of power with the heat vision that he used. So obviously I feel like Jordan's powers are a little unstable and there's something going on there. And I also think that Jonathan probably does have powers, but maybe his powers are a little different than Jordan's, or maybe they're going to manifest in a different way, but I think it's going to kind of pop out at the end. As for the review of this show thus far, I think it's a great balance of Superman's story versus Clark Kent's story. We get to see a lot of the superhero stuff that we love and enjoy about Superman. We've seen him use his freeze breath, we've seen him use heat vision, we've seen him use his super strength, super speed and all that stuff. And we get to see him as Clark Kent dealing with these family issues and stuff like that. You get to see Superman kind of as a dad and his work versus his kids. But this is also very similar to the comics. I mean, this is pretty akin to everything that's going on in the comics right now. While Superman is a dad and he's dealing with his son Jonathan's superpowers and Jonathan rapidly growing up and all that stuff. So you get to see Superman as a dad and stuff, and I feel like that's kind of playing out in this TV show, which is a cool concept unto its own. And in the comics, his son is now a teenager as well, and obviously Superman's dealing with some of the stuff that's going on there. But this, I think, is taking more of a real approach with the teenager aspect, whereas his son in the comics hasn't really dealt with some of the teenage stuff that his sons in here are going through. So it's pretty interesting to see it like that. And speaking of balance, I think this is kind of like a half HBO show and a half CW show. Because the CW shows are all about the teenage angst and stuff like that, and it's not really my jam. But I feel like there's enough of the HBO type quality to this show where even grown-ups like myself can enjoy it. And I do think the overall idea that I have about this show is that it's really interesting and it's intriguing to see where it'll go from here. I mean, this is only like 15 episodes long, so there are only 10 episodes left. And believe it or not, those 10 episodes, even though they're 40 minutes each, can go by really, really quickly, especially if they're kind of slowly building their way there. So this is also a little bit of a slow burn, but there's something kind of going on that's building every single episode. So obviously, with Superman's long history with everything, Morgan Edge and Superman's problems have never really been as super as it's been right now, where the powers are going to different people and stuff like that. So I think it's really interesting to see kind of where the show goes from here. And I think it's been pretty good so far. I feel like the balance between the Superman and the Clark Kent parts of the story are very, very good and very interesting and done really, really well. Anyways, guys, that's my review of Superman and Lois thus far. I am excited to pick this back up in May, but until then, tell me what you think. This is the Markham Knight, and I need you to like, comment, and subscribe.